He's not. Oh, there he is. He's in the attendees section.
One
I'll get him out.
second, I will be right back.
And while I'm here, before everything gets started, I just want to remind everyone to sign in for the meeting, sign the attendance sheet. I'll be putting the link into the chat for everyone. So
Okay.
while the discussion is going, at your leisure, please click the link and fill in your information for the attendance sheet. Thank you.
So Lucian, there's no way when you send us that invite that when we sign on there that we can just be signed in. We're always going to have to, if we use that invite, we always have to go back out and sign in again.
But you can always sign in before. The link is always on live.mcb1.nyc. Just now that everyone's using the calendar invite, they kind of skip it. But when you go back in person, which we expect to be at the end of the month, you'll use this link to sign in, because all of our sign-ins are happening through Google Forms from here on out. So this process will be maintained.
Okay, so the recording is good to go, so I could start it up, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, good evening, everyone, and welcome to the November meeting of Community Board One's Waterfront Parks and Cultural Committee. I am Paul Goldstein, chair of the committee. A few others that I'll introduce up front. Andrew Zelter is our co-chair, and Lucian Reynolds is the district manager, who is our kind assistant on all kinds of matters tonight. So with that, let's get going. We have 2 items to go through. I think we're going to try to take them in reverse order than what you see on your screen. So let's start with Hudson River Park, Downtown Boathouse RFP. So I'll give a very quick introduction to that and then turn it over to Robert Atterbury. In this RFP last week. And it's an RFP for operators of the 4 boathouses that Hudson River Park has in the park. One of them is, of course, in our district. It's been here for many years. It's called the Downtown Boathouse on Pier 26. So, as a result of this RFP, I guess the Hudson River Park will determine who will continue to run that boathouse, whether it will be Hudson Downtown Boathouse folks or anyone else. Just FYI, Downtown Boathouse has been around for years and years in our district. It's been on Pier 26. They offer free kayaking. Many, many people take advantage of their service. It's, you know, it's a nice operation there. And I've only heard positive things about them over the years. They do offer free kayaking for those who visit. So let me, at this stage, turn it over to Robert Atterbury. He is the Executive VP for Park Relationships and Programs at Hudson River Park. And Robert, you can tell us a little more about what the RFP is all about.
Absolutely.
Welcome.
Thank you. Good to see everyone. I think I'm also scheduled to be here next month for the first, what I think is going to be quarterly updates is what we were talking about. So next month we will be here talking estuarium. So we have a lot going on, always exciting. Tonight's topic is the Boathouse RFP. Hudson River Park, we currently have an RFP open for responses for our 4 boathouses. That's Pier 26 in Tribeca, Pier 66, Pier 84, and Pier 96. They are, frankly, our boathouses are purpose-built facilities, and really it is a key way in which Hudson River Park fulfills its mission to help provide on-water access to the public. Our boathouse operators are key partners that we bring in, and that for nearly all of our current ones at least, have free or low-cost rent to help make sure that we're able to provide non-motorized boating opportunities for the public as part of our core mission. And I know there might be some questions on this, and I just want to be very clear up front. We are in, as we are in the RFP process, and in order to be sure that all respondents have a fair opportunity to hear the same information from the trust, I'm going to be limited in what I'm going to be, what questions I can answer tonight, because I can only talk about what is currently out there in public. The RFP is on our website. We have an addendum that we have issued, as well as some questions and answers from potential respondents that we have posted earlier today. And so I may have to refer some questions into that formal Q&A process for potential respondents, given that there are folks who I see on the call who are likely to be respondents to this in particular. So I just want to be very upfront. I will do my best to answer as much as I can, but there will be limits depending on the questions. So otherwise for that, the goals for the RFP for this are to provide the public with consistent, safe, and affordable access to the Hudson River. And one of the key things we look for is a wide range of boating usage and types. So we have everything from expert and beginners all the way up to beginners to experts. We have various types of uses. We have kayaking, we have sailing, and we're really quite proud of our range of it. And it's one of the goals is to balance low cost or no cost access to the Hudson River by permittees operating without profit, as well as by private for-profit permittees who can meet public demand. And that's really how we get from all the way from beginner and nonprofit all the way up to the expert level, which requires a higher level of expertise. I will stop there and maybe we can open up with some questions if there are folks who on it. I see, but that's kind of the general it. Our goals for this RFP are the same goals for the last time we did this, word for word, actually, in 2015. And it's part of the state procurement, given that we have nonprofit folks who are essentially private entities given free or low cost space in public facilities and that are publicly subsidized via utilities and maintenance and other things. We do have to do regular competitive bids to do for it to select users.
Okay, thank you. I will call on the committee to ask questions. I don't see any hands, so let me start. And then hopefully a few others will chime in. So you said you're interested in maintaining free and low cost programs, right?
That is a goal of the RFP, yes.
Okay.
And I will say this also, and I should have maybe put this earlier in legal, will kill me for not saying it. We cannot favor any specific respondents or users, current or otherwise. So we have to set out the criteria of folks that we are interested in seeing and see who responds and evaluate the proposals from there.
So what criteria are you using?
So I mean, I can run through the whole list of the goals of the RFP or the selection criteria. They're all out there. I tried to do a quick summary, but if you'd like me to read it, I can.
All right. All right.
It's really the ones, right, provide the public with safe, consistent, affordable access to Hudson River, satisfy the boating interests of a wide range of users, encourage safe boating on the Hudson River by potential new users, including but not limited to instructional programs, ensure that safe and reliable equipment is provided and operated to adequately support boating programs at such premises. That.
Okay. What sort of role do you see this community board and other community boards playing in this process?
So the way that our procurement rules work is we put out these calls for the RFPs, and then we evaluate the responses that come back. There is not a role for community members in the selection process.
Okay, I suspect that this board would probably be interested in having a role in that process, but I'll allow others to also comment on that. I know there was also some, unease that we didn't even know that an RFP was going to be issued before somebody just pointed it out to us. So considering that we do have a good and close and friendly relationship with your entity,
Yeah.
I mean, that was a little surprising and a little disappointing.
I can apologize for that. It wasn't our intent to catch anyone by surprise. On this one, we have not had any complaints about our boathouse uses, and we are redoing the process that we have previously done. So we certainly could have and should have done a better job of letting you guys know in advance of it. I think we normally, particularly if there is we see a major change or there are larger questions at that for it, I think we certainly do a reach out and we come to you guys. I think you see us frequently, but on this one, it is a redo of the previous one that we think was quite successful.
Okay, let me open it up a little for others who have their hands up. Richard Corman, you're first.
Thanks, Paul, and thanks, Robert. Good to see you. I wanted to, I know Paul just asked about the criteria, but you didn't exactly describe the criteria by which you're going to make the decision or the selection process. Is that something that you can share with us so that we know how you're going to evaluate each of the respondents?
Sure. So it's in the RFP. 35% evaluation on the responsiveness of the respondent's proposal to the RFP's goals, specifically access to the Hudson River and quality and range of programming offered. 25% is the proposal of the operations of the premises, including plans for maintenance, safety, operations, the ability to pay required expenses, and the trust will favor proposals for premises B that include a sailboat component. That is one of our only facilities that's able to handle it. Respondent experience and qualifications, including consideration of every past performance, Hudson River Park Trust with the City of New York. I'm going to skip forward here for a second here. It's just more about the city. Strength of respondent's organizational structure, including not limited to the proposed relationship between affiliated organizations if more than one organization is responding to operate the premises. It's really it's about how it aligns with our goals, which as I talked earlier about consistent, safe, and affordable access to the Hudson River.
So in that criteria that you just listed, is there any section for relevant history and relationship or feedback from people with relationships with those organizations or have experienced those organizations? And of course, I'm thinking about the community board here and our knowledge.
There is a piece of it, respondents' experience and qualifications, including consideration of any past performance within the Hudson River Park Trust.
Okay, that's helpful. Thanks.
Okay, thank you. Let's do Andrew to be followed by Rosa and Alice. Oh no, Alice, you don't have your hand up. So Andrew, you go next. Andrew, you there? All right.
Andrew, you're unmuted. You can speak. I'm not hearing Andrew.
Yeah, me neither. All right, so why don't we come back to Andrew and go to Rosa now?
Thank you. So I just wanted to say that I'm so excited about this because, well, not necessarily about the RFP, but I'm super excited about the boating opportunities there because my family and a lot of our school friends utilize the kayaking off of Pier 26, is it? Often during the summer, and it's wonderful for New Yorkers to have this abilities to be able to go on the water for free and be safe on the water and learn how to do that. So just wanted to say thank you. And I also wanted to share that in our past experiences with the current operator, it has always been extremely organized and professional, and we've enjoyed the experiences very much. I know you can't take into consideration stuff like that, but just putting it out there. If past experience means anything.
Did you say you go there with your children?
Mm-hmm. Roman goes with me and my husband, and sometimes they'll go on their own. And it's, you know, over the years we've had a great experience. I remember when they had the dinghies that were in all the different like animal shapes that were floating around. That was sort of fun and cool. And the quantity of people has been great. And they have doubles so that you can go with your child. So even when Roman was significantly younger, he would still be able to, you know, go out with us. And it's like a 2-person kayak. And so, you know, he didn't really paddle much, but yeah, but it gets them comfortable on the water, which I think is super important given that we are so surrounded by water, especially downtown. It's like always present and there. So it's really nice to be able to go out there, especially as the water is recovering and cleaner and safer and all of that stuff. And thank you very much for everything you guys do at the Hudson River Park. I truly call it my sanity space whenever I feel like, you know, I need to recenter. The park has been sort of the sanctuary where I can go and like walk out all of my angst, especially during the pandemic. So thank you very, very much for that, truly.
One quick follow-up to Rose's comments. I saw in the RFP you had something in there that said users should be strong, experienced swimmers. So how would that work with children, like Rose is describing, taking them out on the boat?
1 second. So that is a question that I think would otherwise qualify as a clarification on the language in the RFP, which is exactly the type of thing that I am not allowed to do. However, in our most recent Q&A, there was a question about that. And if you hang on 1 second, I will pull up the answer on it so that I can share it.
While you're doing that, though, I will also share that everybody who goes out on a kayak must wear a safety vest, life vest.
Mm-hmm. So the trust policy provides safety guidance for non-motorized boaters using park waters, whether or not affiliated with specific boating programs. Through the permits issued to operator with specific boating programs, the trust recognizes that each permittee will have separate requirements and policies regarding safety tailored to the specifics of each permittee's operations. The trust expects each permittee to review and consider its kayaks and canoes and Hudson River Park policy to inform the permittee's own procedures and policies, but recognize that permittees may not elect to supplement or alter its practices in consideration of the permittee's specific operations, boats, safety protocols, oversight, and other requirements for participation.
Okay, so there is nothing in there about strong, experienced swimmers.
It is in our boating and Hudson River Park policy. Permittees, as it said, permittees are able to set their own safety policies.
Okay, thank you for that clarification. Okay, Andrew, are you back in business? Let's give you a shot again.
I am back. Can you hear me?
Yes, thank you.
Great. So apologies if this has been asked or if these questions have been asked already, but Robert, do you know how many times the incumbent providers have gone through this RFP process? Is this the second time? Is that what I gathered from your comments?
I think it's the fourth. I'm not totally sure. It was in 2014 and 2015 was the last time that it, I know it definitely happened, and it happened at least once before then. So it's either third, but if I do the math backwards from that, I think it depends on when the first boathouse would have been constructed. Before the 2014, they were done separately because we did not have all the boathouses built.
Got it. And did I understand correctly that this RFP is essentially the same RFP that these incumbents responded to last time?
The goals are word for word the same.
Got it. Okay. And I think you've answered this question, but this RFP process is not about, it doesn't have a firm revenue objective or a stated revenue objective to it?
Does not.
Okay. Got it. That's it. Thank you.
Thanks, Andrew. Let's go to Morton next, followed by Alice.
Yes, firstly, I want to say hi to Robert. Nice to see you and meet you. I'm fairly new to the committee. I will say that I think the Hudson River Park is just terrific, and there's a model for everything that should be going forward or all around downtown. And whereas I never used the boathouse, I do pass it, and especially in the summertime. I like to jog along the river sometimes, and I see a lot of people enjoying it and seeming to have a really great time using it, particularly on weekends. And I think it's a great addition to downtown. And I'm wondering, I guess it depends on what the responses are to the request for proposal. But are you envisioning that the basic activities are going to stay the same, or can be expanded, or are there going to be any additional activities foreseeable at the locations? Well, perhaps you just have to wait and see what comes in from the responses to the request for proposal. Thanks. Hello? Did I freeze?
Robert says he's having some mic problems. Let's give him a minute to work that out.
Can you hear me? No.
Yes, we heard that, Robert.
Okay, great. So yes, we will have to wait for proposals. We can't speculate on which respondents will win the RFP.
Thanks.
Okay. Thank you. Alice.
Just a quick question while you're here, Robert, and hello, and thank you. What is going on the pier right now, the construction? I was just curious, and I didn't follow what it was. There are large, huge cranes out there on the platform.
On which pier?
26.
26. I'm not, off the top of my head, I'm not sure, actually. Cranes on barges?
There's a huge barge and a huge crane, and it's right up against the deck that's adjacent to the boathouse. Well, why don't you go back and let us...
Actually, our science work going on.
Your what?
It may be our science work going on, but I'd have to confirm. We don't have any major construction happening right there right now. But I will double check and follow up.
Yeah, thanks. Because I was actually very curious. It's huge. I mean, it's very, it's pretty consequential. Anyway, thank you for getting back to us on that. Thanks, Paul.
Okay. Let's see if there's anyone else here that wants to speak that hasn't had the opportunity. I don't see anyone else.
Kathleen has her hand up.
Oh, thank you. I missed you, Kathleen.
It's okay. Couple of questions. Are all the boathouses RFP'd separately or as one group? And if separately, is it different years for each one?
It's all at the same time, which both helps us figure out the diversity of uses and understand it. It also prevents a Hunger Games style one where operators apply in successive years to try to get whatever one they can.
And who chooses the final operator? Is it your staff or your board or an
There's a
outside?
selection committee here, and then I believe they are accepted by they are proposed and voted on by our board.
And whoever gets the contract, where does their funding come from?
Depends on the operator.
Can you give me a typical example?
So I don't want to upset this here, so I'm going to try to just be careful. So we have right now fully volunteer programs in the park that are that are fully 100% volunteer operators. They receive free rent from the trust. There is a contribution as part of the utilities, but although we cover the vast bulk of it, as well as some maintenance. We also have some programs that are low cost. For-profit operations in the park, and their funding comes from user fees and others. And we have blended ones as well. So it's really we have a range, and that's when we spoke about the diversity earlier. That's part of it.
Okay, thank you very much.
And what's the timetable for this? When do you expect to announce who the winners are?
I don't know about the announcement. The submission is November 11th, and I believe that it will have to be done by the end of the year, which is when I think the current permits expire.
Okay. Alice, your hand is up from before, or did you want to speak again? Okay. And Kathleen, you spoke. So I guess we've gone through it. So committee, oh, Tammy, your hand is now up.
Yeah, I
Go.
apologize. I just want to reiterate what you said in the beginning back for Robert is that because the boathouse is our only boathouse in CB1, as you well know, it is crucial for us. If we had it our way, we'd duplicate what we have there on the east side, and that's what, we'd have as part of our new market site. But what is really important also for us is anytime that something like this would come up is that we'd have an opportunity at least to be asked to opine for comment. We're happy to hear you didn't have any issues with the current operator. We're really happy to hear that because we also enjoy the current operator and have not heard anything bad. And I would suspect to say are supportive. And of course, that comes out of what Paul decides to do if they do a reso or anything. But we would ask that we have an opportunity to opine, to know when it's going on and to know what's up versus, so it's just a part of community engagement we'd like you to do.
Absolutely. And again, I think it didn't occur to us on this one because we would not have expected there to be much advocacy for change, but we appreciate it. It's a point well taken.
Okay, well, I will then return to that topic again and ask the committee if they are interested in doing any kind of resolution that states any of these issues, including a bigger role for the community board in reviewing these RFPs, and if anyone is interested in making any kind of comment about how the current operator is doing. We know these things may not be considered, but I think that wouldn't be a bad idea in my personal opinion, but I'd like to hear from the rest of the committee. Okay, Richard.
Actually, given that past performance is a criteria, I think our input should have some value here because better to opine on the past performance than the people who use the boathouses, and then that's us. And so I think um, rather than I'm really not going to comment particularly on our role. I think people have that, but I think we should put something together about our support and our experience with the current operator here at the boathouse. It's been from everything that I have seen and everything that I've heard and all the comments tonight and my own personal experience with them, they've run just an excellent, welcoming, open, safe, and operation that is a real contribution to the community. And it's really wonderful to have them there.
Okay, thank you. Let's keep going. Rosa?
So basically ditto everything that Richard said. He said it much better than I could. But just also again want to offer a personal testimony that in all of the experiences that we have had going as our family, with other families with younger children and older children, going with friends who are, you know, our age without children, all of those experiences, we have found that the professionalism with the existing operator has been incredible, that they have been very organized, that we have gotten onto the water very quickly, that they have been safe, and that they do monitor the activity of the kayakers on the water as it's happening. I have never been there. There has been any unsafe incidences that have occurred. I have been there when they have whistled out to people who are on the water because they feel like they're getting too close to the edge or whatever. And so I am reassured that they are always monitoring the situation to make sure that things are being done in a safe manner. They also have somebody on the water in a kayak to be able to go out and address things super quickly if that were to be needed. But I've never seen them have to do that personally. And it's just incredibly well organized. I've never had a bad experience there. It's just a pleasure, and it's a pleasure to be able to go out on the water because it's New York City and we're surrounded by water. So yeah, and everything you said.
Got it. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Kathy Gupta.
Sure, and I'm in agreement with everything everybody else said, but I just add they know our community, and that's a real asset, and that's it. I think it's important.
Okay. Joe Lerner.
Joe, you're on mute.
What?
Joe, you have to unmute.
Let's get the meeting going, and I call the question.
All right, let's do one last comment, and then I have to clarify one thing.
People are just repeating themselves.
Okay, Morton, anything new?
No, I'm by mistake. I wanted a phone call.
Okay, one question. Do you want to comment on the community board playing some sort of role in these RFPs and reviewing them and passing on what we have to say, what we think?
Lucian's got his hand up.
Lucian, did you want to comment? I'm sorry.
Yeah, I just wanted to say that I thought it was a wise direction to take since Hudson River Park Trust legally can't consider our input on this. But one thing I wanted to say is for any applicant who's receiving an accolade from the committee today, the resolution won't be final until the end of this month, which may be later than the submission. However, I think it's safe to say that the committee has moved to be in support of the history of service and that's a fair thing to say in any kind of proposal that you submit to the trust.
Okay, great. So what about the other matter? Andrew, did you want to comment on that?
Yeah, I think so. I might have dropped when this was being discussed, but if there's a more formal role for us to play in the consideration and selection process, I think it behooves us to play that role.
All right. Yeah, I mean, we ask for that with so many different agencies all the time. I think we should be consistent and try to play our role and represent the voice of the community in these types of matters. So the resolution is giving some accolades to the Downtown Boathouse and the good service that we've had with them, and to also urge Hudson River Park to allow the community boards to play a role in this type of RFP process in this case and moving forward. Okay, do I have a second for that?
Second.
Okay. Lucian, you're going to do the roll call? Or
The thing, we go. So this is going to be by acclamation. So I am just asking members who are not in favor to speak up when I go through the other options. All those who are opposed, all those who are abstaining, all those who are recusing themselves from this vote. Hearing none, I'm marking this vote as unanimous. Thank you.
And thank you, Robert, again. We look forward to our continued work with
See everyone next month. I'll be back
right.
soon.
Thanks again for all the good work you guys do. Okay. Let me just do, who was that?
It was Zelter. Yeah, can I just make one quick comment?
Sure.
And this just may be semantics. This might have been what you were thinking. But are we talking about accolades, or are we talking about a more formal endorsement?
Well, I was going with the former, just accolades. That's what I basically was hearing.
Got it.
That's what I was going to suggest.
Are you including what Tammy had mentioned about additional, future community engagement in this process, or not?
Yeah, well, I think that's the second, bullet point of the resolution, to have a more formalized ongoing role for the community board. Okay, let me just take a 1-minute break to introduce a new member of both the community board and of our committee. And she's with us now. Ushma Pandya, you're here. You're not on camera, so we can't see you unless you care to turn on your video so we can. Ushma, do you want to say hello and introduce yourself briefly and maybe talk for 1 minute about your interest in park waterfront cultural issues?
I can, but I'm not in a great location, so I'll just say hello.
Okay, do you want to just tell people for 1 minute about yourself?
Sure. Hi, everyone. My name is Ushma. I'm a longtime resident of Tribeca. I live near Bubby's. I have 2 girls, 8 and 11. I'm very much interested in issues.
I guess we lost. Is everyone not hearing her anymore?
Bad location, I guess.
Ushma, I don't know if you're hearing us, but unfortunately your audio went out.
It's showing that there's no audio or video on
All
the
right.
computer.
Anyway.
I think she's back. She might be back now.
I see. You want to try it one more time, Ushma?
If not, we can get our next meeting.
Okay. We will do so. Okay, so why don't we move on to the next item, which is considering a second Million Tree Initiative. And for this item, I am going to ask Lucian Reynolds to update us on some information he's learned from some meetings he's attended with the borough president and others. Lucian, thank you. You're on.
Thank you, Paul. Thank you, Paul. Okay, so I'm here to talk about the second Million Trees Initiative. This is something that the various borough presidents had come together to request as kind of, a unifying condition that all New Yorkers can get behind, and that is we need more trees. Everyone here certainly is well acquainted to the benefits of street trees. They combat their urban heat island effect. They capture stormwater. They make us happy. They give us shade, and they provide lots of bountiful shelter for all sorts of native wildlife. So street trees are great. The problem is that in terms of urban canopy and achieving the potential for urban canopy, we are still falling short. While the Bloomberg administration's Million Tree Initiative did improve the urban canopy by a significant margin, most of the trees did go into forested areas, parklands, where they had been taking out lots of invasive species and replacing those with, a wide selection of native species, which is extremely beneficial and useful use of the time, effort, and treasure that went into that program. What the borough presidents are now asking for is something to combat the lack of street trees where people live. So I have before you, this is coming from the Nature Conservancy's report. They looked at various years of data for the urban canopy. Now this does include forested areas, but it does give you an idea of which community districts have more canopy cover than others. You'll see that we rank close to the bottom for Manhattan. This is no surprise. We have Lower Manhattan and Midtown Manhattan both have very challenging environments for street trees. Midtown Manhattan has very high pedestrian traffic. They have lots of subsurface infrastructure. Lower Manhattan is the same. We have lots of pedestrian traffic, subsurface infrastructure. We have older buildings that have vaults. We have high utilities. We have steam lines. I mean, you name it, we have it. So you'll see that community districts 1 and 3 are pretty low. I've highlighted the community district 1, and so this is one view. I'll give you all another view. Let's see. I want to go to here. So this is the report, just so you all can see it. I can share the link for it if you like. This page, I just go back to. So this is street tree metrics by community district. So just to kind of walk you through what this is saying, on the leftmost column is the community district and the number of trees. And then the one I think is really important is the estimated street tree capacity. So I'll kind of point these columns out. The number of street trees in 2015 was the last count that was in this study, and the estimated street tree capacity. So keep your eyes on these two columns. So this is us down here at the bottom. So we had in 2015, they had counted 2,297. and our capacity is about double that. So we certainly have places for them to go. So that's the good news. We certainly could be a much more forested district than we are now. That doesn't help us with the challenges for streets that have subsurface challenges, such as vaults, steam lines, other utilities, subways, and the like. So what we've discussed before, and I believe in Al's committee, Al's Mondays committee discussed, well, how about looking to a containerization as a way to put the tree on top of the sidewalk as opposed to in the sidewalk. I brought that to Parks. Parks says, well, that works, but once you put it in a container, it's no longer under Parks jurisdiction. It's the Department of Transportation's jurisdiction. Essentially, it's a planted bollard, if you will. So it's outside of Parks' care matrix. It's outside of Parks' counts, and it goes wholly to DOT. Now, DOT does a lot of things well, but they're not exactly the best stewards of street trees in our experience. So I think there's a couple parts of the current Million Trees initiative that's being pushed by the borough presidents that don't speak to the challenges that we see in our district, and I think that are also applicable in Midtown Manhattan and the West Side, Hell's Kitchen. And I'll show you one more. Let's see. Oh, you know what? It's on my browser. I need to pull. I have a browser tab. Tammy sent me a pretty cool tool that I want to bring up just while we finish this conversation.
So
I'm sorry. Can we see this web browser? Can you all see this?
Yes. Community profiles.
Yeah, the community profiles. So this is tree canopy. So the lighter color is worse. It's a lesser coverage. You'll see that Midtown, this is CB5, Midtown, the central Midtown, and then the West Side, Chelsea, Hell's Kitchen. They're both the bottom. These are the worst, the hatched. So these are just the very poorest in tree canopy, but we're pretty close. So we can play this map and show you some different views on this, but that'll give you a sense of. So let me get back to just because I was kind of taken off track a little bit. My recommendations are that we need to articulate that if we support the second coming of the Million Trees initiative, that there needs to be provisions for ways that parks can work with DOT and with the Department of Environmental Protection, who manage stormwater and the storm drain system, to create standards for additional ways to do tree containerization, which would benefit our district immensely. The new initiative already has provisions for how to have the Parks Department take better care of the street trees, which is important for their longevity and for frankly for the new plantings to make it past the first couple of years. If they don't get enough water and a bad summer, they're toast. And then the last piece is to integrate any kind of street tree containerization gains with other kinds of security plans where maybe organizations want to have bollards, maybe having street trees instead of bollards is a preferable alternative, because you're killing two birds with one stone. You're creating, a heavy object, but it also is fighting the urban heat island effect, and so that kind of that was a point that Tammy made, that it dovetails with the board's larger desire for interagency collaboration on how to do security better in Lower Manhattan. So with that, Paul, that's all I have. Thank you for giving me some time to speak to it.
Well, thank you for introducing us and giving us something to go with. Okay, Andrew, you're next.
Lucian, thanks for that. And apologies if I didn't quite follow, but with respect to the, I forget what they called it, estimated tree capacity, it looked like we were currently at 50% capacity, if I remember the numbers correctly. But are you saying that there are factors to consider with respect to that estimated tree capacity that perhaps reduces what is feasible if we don't consider containerization?
I understand your question, Andrew. I think my point is that we could actually increase that capacity greater with establishing new methods of and new initiatives of containerized street trees in areas that where street beds cannot currently be dug by the Department of Parks and Recreation because of subsurface issues. So what you're seeing in capacity, that's actually legitimate. From my understanding, those are legitimate places that trees can currently be planted under normal circumstances. So we could actually take that number and increase the number of potential street trees by adding in ways to do containerized trees in parts of Tribeca and Fidei and Seaport where currently any kind of digging would be a huge no-no.
Got it. So thank you. That's a helpful clarification. If we just take, one follow-on question, if we just take current state, which is existing number of trees and our capacity, and again, it looked to be at 50%. So in theory, without any alternate strategies, we should be able to double our current tree plantings.
Yeah, I won't venture to say what the increase would be, but I do think it would be significant. I'm going to scroll up a little bit so you can see. Do they have Manhattan? Oh yeah, they have more Manhattan boards. So, for example, Manhattan Community Board 7, it's slightly larger area, but the capacity is over 9,000.
Got it. So in terms of just managing our expectations, we shouldn't necessarily consider that if this second phase were to move forward, it would add, it would double the number of trees we have currently in our. Right?
I think it would be. I think you would have streets that would look very different in our neighborhoods. Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
But it would be a sea change in terms of how the city tasks non-parks agencies with the creation and maintenance of urban forests. There currently is no, writ large program for Department of Transportation to care for street trees. The closest thing that we have to that are the green streets where certain large medians and plazas have plantings that Department of Parks and Recreation does tend to some degree, but it's not to the level of tree care with requiring arborists and other sorts of care activities. But it's worthwhile.
Okay, let's keep going. Francis, you haven't spoken yet. You go.
I was just wondering if the areas that have more trees have more parks.
The answer is yes, to a degree. The difference, though, is that Central Park is not counted in any community district. So that's one that we always kind of look at, like, well, how about Central Park? But there are parks in CB7 that do have trees in them that are counted. But there's sometimes a park will be carved out. So, for example, this one at the bottom is Central Park, yeah. So this will give you kind of like a sense.
So if we had a few more parks, we could get a few more trees, right?
Yeah. I mean, parkland is simply the best place to plant a tree, not simply because there's space, but also the conditions are far more favorable to a tree surviving. Street trees have the toughest challenge for survival And for that reason, they pick really specific species that can take road salts, that can take bumps from cars, that are low sunlight from time to time. They can take the radiation of heat from buildings. That can bear to be urinated on by lots of dogs. I mean, these are real problems that street trees have to live through. So a lot of the trees that we love in parks wouldn't make it a year on the street.
Okay, thank you. Let's see, we have a couple more people. Richard Corman.
Thanks, Lucian. This is really interesting, very helpful too. And the question from Andrew clarifies one of the things that I was going to ask. Do I read this right? I can't remember what the number was before. I have a question. I have a few comments too. I think the percentage that we had of land coverage was around 12. Was that correct?
Are you referring to the last the tree census?
Yes, right.
Yeah, this study doesn't have the most recent tree census data in it. I wanted something to kind of give you a comparative look across community boards, but I'd have to go back and refer to the tree census. But the amount of trees planted may be slightly higher from the 2015, but then again, it may be lower if
Uh-huh.
a lot of
But
trees
probably
have died.
so we're in more or less perhaps in that ballpark. And if we doubled the count, would that put us into the dark brown area in the 20? Because if we're say at 10, would that get us up then to the 21%? And is that considered that 22% where we've got the dark coverage area? Is that considered? Is there kind of a standard that is a target for an urban area?
The target, I would say the target is always going to be looking at trying to hit the median. So this is park access. Let me just change this to street tree canopy. So 19.2% covered is probably a reasonable goal to aim for, without more deeper study of what the potential is. But I would say as long as we're well below 19.2%, we would have good reason to be vocal about wanting more street trees and more canopy coverage.
Right. And we certainly seem to be below that, considerably below
Yeah.
that. But if they planted those trees that are capable of being planted, that would put us pretty close to that, if not over. Now, there may be areas, it may not be uniformly distributed across the district, which could be a problem. But one thing I did want to mention, or a couple of things, the sidewalk planters, from what I've seen, have really been problematic. They house rats, they house vermin. They're so, at least so far, and I know this is something that you've talked about, but they certainly aren't generally well taken care of. And so I would be kind of cautious about using those as a way to add more, unless there's a better way to handle it and a better way to prevent it becoming a very happy home for vermin.
Yeah, this is tree beds, getting rat holes, tree beds collecting trash or
And trash,
fecal
right?
matter from animals. This is a constant fight. There's a couple things that I in my years of working with trees, we've recommended that people do. For example, never planting any kind of perennial. Don't plant vines. They give rats comfort and cover. Being active constantly. Trees need to have volunteers cultivate the soil, especially street trees, so that the soil doesn't turn to a rock and water can continue to permeate down to the roots. This keeps the roots from seeking water, and then that's when they start going towards buildings or water pipes and causing problems. as long as the soil is cultivated, the water can go straight down. Rats do not like that kind of activity. And then it's also connected to our garbage issues. As long as bags of trash are going to be placed on the street, you'll find more rats closer to where there's more food. So that's something that needs to be taken care of as well. But containerized street trees, I won't say that they are rat proof, but they certainly don't. They have their own challenges in terms of needing additional attention for watering during the warmer months, because water doesn't simply go off the sidewalk towards the tree bed, but they don't get urinated on by animals, and they are not stepped on by people. So the compaction of soil issues are less. So it's always a trade-off. But yeah, rats are something that one would have to look out for. But that's training is important. Yeah, what can I say? It is a natural environment that you're inserting into the sidewalk, so it does create a habitat potential for certain urban wildlife.
Yeah, right. Just a couple more things. Assuming we're going to support this, and I can't see why we wouldn't, it's hugely important. I would certainly advocate that the areas like ours that are low on the percentage coverage should have some kind of priority in terms of planting. That's one thing that I would want us to consider. I would also, there used to be an arborist program, and maybe there still is, but I haven't seen much of it, where we get citizens to be trained as arborists and engage our communities in the protection and
That's right.
And nourishment of our tree environment. And I think that would be great to re-encourage if it's kind of gone by the wayside. And another thing is the tree guards. You mentioned the dogs. I mean, clearly I'm a dog lover, but dogs and trees are not good. Dogs are not good for trees, no matter what anybody says. And tree guards would help. And so perhaps part of this program, the city can support some kind of tree guard, additional tree guards to at least to the new trees, if not the old ones. They have a good program, but it's not cheap, and they have to be paid for by the buildings that the trees are planted by, and so it's not really supported by the city. So that's another thing that I kind of think we could consider. And I think that's all I got.
Yeah, well, you're absolutely right. Tree guards make a huge difference. Just overall, when buildings adopt the tree that's in front of it, the tree has a much better existence. Whether it's investments in protection of tree guards, some buildings will buy signage saying, curb your dog, don't let your dog pee on the tree, things like that. People learn. Most people do believe that you're watering the tree when the dog pees on it, which is it's innocent enough, and it's whatever. But once they learn that it's bad for the tree, people usually avoid it. The program that you're mentioning is called the Citizen Pruner Program.
Oh yeah.
It's run by a not-for-profit called Trees New York, and I used to work for them, and I used to teach the course. So that's I'm very well in tune with that. You can still sign up; they're still doing it. It's a great course, and then you get an actual permit to take care of street trees with whatever gear that you have. But what's the last piece of that? I think I cover everything that you mentioned.
Well, I would just add a little bit to that, which is that maybe that program, which I don't think is very well known, should be publicized and supported more strongly by the city. My wife went through it quite a long time ago, and it was a wonderful program. And maybe also education here for dog owners. Another thing to call for.
Yeah, certainly.
Again, I say that as truly a dog lover and certainly former dog owner.
Okay, good. A lot of good points there. Thank you, Richard. Let's move along. We have Rosa next.
Thank you very much. So I am so in favor of this resolution. So 100%. And I actually would like to include all of Lucian's detailed points in the resolution. I know that in probably the Environmental Protection Committee is where we heard when we were fighting to get more bioswales or green streets, we were essentially told Manhattan was not going to happen, especially lower Manhattan was not going to happen, specifically because of the density of utilities that are in our neighborhood. The cost was just too extreme. They would be able to add significantly more trees in areas that had fewer challenges than ours. And so that's what they were doing. And so I do think that the containerized tree system would probably be the only one that would be possible for our neighborhood in a somewhat economical way. So that's number one. And perhaps if Alice wants to chime in on that, then she'll be able to do that. I think that possibly an adopt a planter program. I mean, if there is such a thing, and if there isn't, maybe we could try to get them to set one up. But I know that when I was speaking with Isabel Ching at Hamilton Madison House, she was saying that the seniors that go to her center really love gardening, but they just don't have many opportunities to do such a thing. And I wonder if either larger buildings or programs, or for instance, I know Pace University has an agriculture program, and they also have a sustainability team, and they have a tiny garden plot that they have on their property, but I know they would want to do more. I know that our building has actively looked at, getting planters, and I think that there are many sort of buildings that would be interested in doing that down here. And then you have that sort of responsible party that's going to take care of and is assigned a specific planter to take care of a tree if DOT is not up to that task. So I would propose getting the community more actively involved and giving them the opportunity to actually take care of the trees and the planters. And I think also we need to do a study on our streets, because I know for FIDI specifically, we have some really narrow streets where such a system will not be welcome, because you can barely pass through there anyways to begin with. And so there's certain areas that just aren't going to be a good option. And so perhaps if it's possible to map and then have a plan of where it would be possible to add trees, we could start looking at that more sort of on a logistical basis. I think the bollard idea is incredibly great, because I know that City Council member Chris Marte proposed that we do that as an option at PS 150 instead of requesting actual bollards, and we love that idea. So we hope that we'll be able to go forward with that soon. And the children would love to be able to take care of them as well. And then the last point I had was just that the rainwater retention possibility for these planters is, significant if we add enough trees. And while all of the resiliency work that Lower Manhattan is undertaking is enormous, I think the majority of that is frankly for stormwater, right? It's not for rainwater. And there, as we have seen in the past, rainwater flooding is real. And as it's pouring outside us right now, we have a steady increase in heavy rain events. And so that is something that we need to address. And I think that this would be a really great way to address that. That's it. Thank you.
Thanks, Rosa. I agree. I will say that it comes to mind, and I think I can't tell whose hands up right now, but I know that Alice has advocated for some underutilized green spaces and plazas to be re-greened, and that certainly is an opportunity. I'm not sure what the DOT rules are green streets on, visibility for drivers, but for whatever plazas we have, we have requests in for the budget to have those green streets expanded, those plazas like Barnett Newman Triangle and Finn Square. I know you and I have talked about as well, Rosa. Those are all places that could be real opportunities for, maybe even larger trees, not simply street trees, but larger trees, because there's enough space for a larger tree to go in. So we can be creative, but I think that these are the things that we have to ask for.
Right. Oh, so sorry. I'm just going to add to that super quickly that both Duane Park and Finn Square are actively looking to expand their footprint, and would enormously welcome that opportunity and to add more trees.
Right.
Hey, Lucian, this is Wendy. I'm the one with the hand up. I think it's because it's on my cell phone that it's not popping up. I just looked up the cost has really gone up a lot, and I was just wondering if that's one of the Million Tree Initiative is really to find the funds, because now it's cost, according to Google, $3,500 per street tree, because many of them you have to dig out the old tree to put the new one in. Is that part of the issue that's being discussed?
Yeah, I mean, they're looking for, I think, $500 million for this this initiative, and certainly the costs have gone up, and it's also a function of the nurseries in New Jersey, how many trees they have available, and I don't know what like future kind of yield years are for like the size trees, the caliper size trees that the parks likes to use for street trees, but I know that there's market conditions plus the need to replace failed trees have taken costs upwards. Yes, that is true.
So
But
one of the things,
yeah,
I'm a big urban gardener, and I have trees on my cement terrace, and it is very difficult to keep them alive in the summer. I don't know if there's anything that can be written into the Million Trees Initiative to give um, buildings incentives to water the trees and to take care of the trees. Because one of the things that I heard that was really horrifying when I was one time doing It's My Park Day out in Queens is that the neighbors didn't want the trees because if it fell on their house, they didn't want to, it was just a burden for them insurance wise. Um, so, these are complicated things. I mean, we all want trees, but incentivizing buildings to put them in, that may be something, I just think there's more complication with that. And then the other piece of it is I always think signage, uh, education, it comes with signage. And if you could write things about, hey, water me in the summer, and that's a sign that's on new trees, that would help, because I think people feel like they shouldn't get involved, and really they need to be. I think we need to be educated that it's okay to water the tree even if it's not your tree. If
yeah,
that
yeah. That's absolutely right. It's owners, especially single family housing. I've been out in Queens. I've seen Arborside with my own eyes in Queens. It's a real struggle there, but
I
education is
don't want to pick
important.
Queens,
Get
that's not fair, but I mean, I just
well,
think
no,
part
but
of
I mean it's a real thing there, and it's pervasive. But part of it is making sure that trees are being cared for from the beginning. So, like I said, so the roots grow downwards and not towards their cellar walls, and they'll
that's
sometimes a
right.
tree root will crack into the cellar wall. So people say, "Oh, I don't want these trees. It's going to buckle my sidewalk that I have to pay for. It may crack my building
Correct.
foundation wall, and then the branches are going to grow into my windows." A properly cared for street tree will have its taproot grow downwards. It won't buckle the sidewalk, and it's going to be pruned regularly enough that its branches aren't going to grow into someone's building. So, it's a care and maintenance for these trees is almost as important as putting them in the ground in the first place. And the second go around for Million Trees, there's a big emphasis on that.
Well, I think
I
I
spoke.
think to your point, if the neighborhood doesn't want them, don't put them in because they'll just be killed. So and the
Oh,
cost of
yeah.
$3,500 per tree is not a joke anymore. That's crazy. So anyway, enough of that. But I
Yeah.
do think that part of this it's a please water me in the summertime would go a long way.
One thing I'll add is that there's kind of interesting ways to say please water me that you can do that have like kind of myriad benefits. So one thing that volunteers do is they can plant, and this may be something a way to involve some of the seniors who like gardening. But when someone is caring for a tree bed, so cultivating the soil to break it up so water can infiltrate, adding mulch. One thing people can do is plant annuals in the tree beds. Not only does it make them pretty, but annuals are a great indicator of when a tree needs water, because if the annuals start drooping, then the tree needs to be watered as well.
Right, great.
Building staff may see some sad looking flowers and say, let me water those flowers, but in effect, they're watering the tree. That's a pretty successful practice. But again, for this thing to work, it's going to take the city having its ducks in a row, to your point. It's going
Yeah,
to take
and
a massive volunteer force to supplement with the city's
well,
efforts as well.
this is not always great with kind of describing it in plain language that would be helpful and cheery. So I would, maybe we could help them. Thank you.
Okay. I think it's pretty clear that we're strongly in favor of passing something in favor. Joe, did you still want to speak on this?
Yeah. Do we have a resolution or
I was just getting
good and bad welfare?
I was going to get to
Because
that.
listen, I'm not a villain here. I've done about 15 years at the Battery Park City Gardens, but all this stuff is not applicable to what we are supposed to be doing.
Okay, let's try to wrap up this discussion. Lucian, you can try to help us draft this resolution.
Absolutely.
And I think we should incorporate some of the things that were recommended. So with that, does anyone want a second calling this question?
Second.
Okay. Do we have any opposition? Any abstentions?
Can I have all the cameras on, please? I really need cameras because I had to mark people no camera last vote.
Oh, all right, folks, if you have an opportunity, please put your camera on.
Okay.
While we're doing that, Paul, can I just ask one very quick question of Lucian?
Sure.
Lucian, to the extent they know what our capacity is for number of trees, do they have a map identifying where those trees can be planted?
Yeah. Well, there's a current map. Yes, I believe the street tree census looked at empty tree beds. So I can find that resource so you can take a look at it. But um, before there is a major replanting, parks will also go through and reassess because conditions may change. Um, between the last census, buildings can be built, buildings can be torn down. Things. Big things happen sometimes year to year. So they had to go back through and re-canvass and resurvey the sites.
Got it. Thank you.
Okay, so I think we took the vote on that. There were no recusals or abstentions, correct?
Yes, that's my understanding.
Okay, so we're good to go.
Everyone.
I think that's pretty much it. Jamal, thanks for joining us. I see you've been with us for this meeting. I guess we'll get to you. By the way, if you have a chance, I know Caroline Miller from that new Pexlip, Friends of Pexlip group would like to speak to you and set up a meeting. So if you get a chance, please reach out to her. Okay. And if you need any contact info, I have it. With that, I thank the committee. I think we're done. We do have quite a bit already on our agenda for December, but we'll get to that in December. In the meantime, have a great Thanksgiving, everybody, and enjoy. And I guess we'll see a lot of you at the community board meeting next week. Have a good night.
Thanks, everyone. Bye-bye.
Good night. Thank you. Bye.
Good night.
Good night.